Welcome back to Comicgeddon, where comics and TV collide. I'm John Wise.
I'm Shannon.
And now it's time for the reviews. We had Lucifer, Walking Dead, and Gotham this week. So let's go ahead and we'll start with Lucifer.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. So not a whole lot happened on Lucifer this week, other than he got his wings back. He found who stole them. They tried to pass off some replica wings as his, but when he got a closer look, he noticed they were fake.
Well, I assume he'd know his own wings.
Yeah.
Okay.
They looked real though.
Well, any good replica it will.
Yeah. So he did end up finding his actual wings though. And then we cut to the end of the show where he's sitting on the beach with his wings sitting in the sand next to him on either side of him. And his brother, who's an angel, comes and talks to him and everything. And I think he's smoking a cigarette or something.
Lucifer.
Yes. And he's just looking at his brother like he was betrayed, you know. And he discovered that his brother was the one who actually told the guy where to find his wings. So he ends up lighting his wings on fire.
Huh.
And his brother is just
With the cigarette?
Yes. His brother's just standing there like, Lucifer, what'd you do? You know? And just almost in tears, bawling like a baby. And Lucifer's like, you know what, you were right. I was kind of using these as a fallback in case I didn't like it. It's time to clip the wings and
burn the hell out of them.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
See what I did there? Burn the hell out of them.
So yeah, that's about it for Lucifer.
All right. Would you rate it?
5.
Out of 10?
5 out of 10.
Even though nothing really happened?
Yeah.
Got his wings back. They burned him.
Yes.
That's it. Get it 5.
Yes.
You gave it 5. So there you go. Check the episode out. Probably on Hulu. Next up,
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. So usually we do Walking Dead first, but I figured let's change it up a little bit. Because Walking Dead is always awesome.
Yes.
And this episode, again,
Didn't disappoint.
So much happened. We had Rick and the gang decided to go ahead and go through on their promise.
And remember, poop is brown.
Poop is brown. Was that the quote?
Something like that.
Another Abrahamism. So nobody knows what shit's gonna come out of his mouth.
Literally.
Again, see what I did? That's 2. But no, they kept their promise. They went and without investigating, without any recon.
It looked like SEAL Team 6 going in to kill Osama.
They invaded Negan's compound, killed a bunch of guys. Glenn, for the first time ever,
Killed
a human, non-zombie. Now this is going to come back on him. Now I'm more convinced than anything now. If you've read the comics, again, this is major spoilers.
Yes.
So if you don't want spoilers, I suggest you pause in 5, 4, 3. Okay, so here we go. In the comics, Negan bashes Glenn, his face, his head, and everything, with a bat full of barbed wire. He names it Lucille. And he saw foreshadowing on the pictures on the wall. I am more convinced now that he's committed his first actual human death. Not even out of defense, but just plain out murder. He's gone. His fate's sealed.
I have another take on that though.
What's your take?
I think since Judith didn't die, they need
that impact.
Yes.
I had this theory too that they're going to.
I think they're going to do to Maggie what they did to Glenn in the comics.
It wasn't Glenn. It was Lori.
No, but I think they're going to do to Maggie though what they did to Glenn with the baseball bat.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So
that would have an even harsher impact.
And I'll tell you now, my girlfriend hates the fact that there's a possibility that Glenn and Maggie or both will die because those are her favorite characters. I think it's Daryl, but you know.
See, I think Maggie's going to be the one that gets killed, and Glenn is going to become leader of the Hilltop because in the comics, Maggie becomes leader of the Hilltop.
Yeah. I don't see Carol hanging around for too much longer either.
No, it goes back to the horror movie rules where, once you get laid, you can't live,
That's true. Carol got some in this episode.
Yeah.
Something else that happened in this one. And it wasn't with Daryl. Sorry, ladies. You got it, we're shown. What more do you want? But yeah, I don't think Carol's much long for this world either.
Well, you love a woman when you eat her radish and
it was
acorn.
Beet and acorn,
Yeah.
or radish and acorn cookies.
Yeah.
Which apparently everybody loved. So.
Well, in the zombie apocalypse, there isn't much to choose from.
No. But no. Well, again, in the comics, again, spoiler. You should probably assume the whole reviews are spoilers for future reference. In the comics, Carol didn't even make it out of prison.
No.
There was a relationship she and I think it was Tyrese had.
Yeah.
He went with Michonne, and she felt rejected, and they had the zombie tied up. His doctor wanted to study the zombie. Rule number 3,000: don't keep zombies laying around for study. And she walks into the zombie because the zombie will accept her, and the zombie ate her. So.
And of course, Abraham, we got to see how much of an asshole Abraham could be this episode. When we got together, I thought you were the last woman on earth, and that just isn't so.
That's not so, and he walks off, leaving her sobbing with Eugene, being Eugene, eating a Carol cookie. Have you tried these cookies? These are really good. Slam door.
But in the comics, Rosita and Eugene end up getting together.
So, hey, well, at least it's the mullet. Chicks dig the mullet.
Yeah. I had a mullet for the longest time.
I hide those pictures. I don't show them to anybody.
See, I had the type of mullet where my sides were actually shaved skin.
No, I had the Billy Ray Cyrus mullet.
Don't tell my make you break your heart. So, what would you rate this episode?
Again, there was just so much going on in this episode. We didn't even cover Morgan standing up and giving the Dale speech.
Yeah.
It's a speech. He's really taken over the role of Dale in the series. He's the only one that kind of objected to this, which is also kind of scary. With that going on, and Rick just going gung-ho at the end of the episode, Carol and Maggie are captured. Daryl finds his love of his life, his bike. That was cool.
Yeah.
The fact
I thought the love of his life was his crossbow, though.
Well, I think it's kind of a triangle. It's a love triangle. So much happened in this episode. It was such a great episode. Not what you expected the group to take. So I'll give this episode a solid 7.5. Not their best episode. It's still a great episode. Really, you can tell it's really leading up to something huge.
Yeah.
The actor who plays Rick has already gone on record saying that the last episode he couldn't sleep after reading the script. He went into tears. So we know there's a big, big death, maybe more, coming our way. So yeah, definitely solid 7.5 here.
I'll actually, I'll give it a 9. Yeah, I love the scene because when they're at that building and all of a sudden the two guards go inside and everyone just kind of comes in, pulls the body out of the way or whatever, and then the other guard comes out and you just see the sword come straight through him.
Oh yeah.
It was like SEAL Team 6.
Actually, I would like to up it to an 8. I'm going over in my head the whole thing with Glenn and his buddy right there. So yeah, I'm going to up it to an 8. I'm allowed. He gives it a 9. I give it an 8. Tell us what you think. In the meantime, let's do Gotham. Gotham, the finished origin of Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
What'd you think?
It was okay.
Did you like how they changed the origin? They kind of kept the origin true, but at the same time, they did tweak it a bit because, as far as we know, Nora Fries, I hate that by the way, Fries is dead.
Yeah.
Not dead, frozen liquid in water and all that, but actually shattered.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really care for it. Because Freeze, whatever you want to call him, his whole motivation is to fix his wife.
Well, I think at one point she did die, where she was revived and left him, and then he was just out for revenge. He wanted to take everything everybody loved and destroy it. And I think that was part of the Batman Robin. That was part of the second animated series that they did.
I thought that was in the Batman.
No,
where
it might have been in the Bat. I haven't watched it, but I know for a fact it was in.
Because they
the
did an
animated series.
episode that was reminiscent of The Dark Knight, where it takes place hundreds of years in the future.
That was Batman Beyond.
No. There was an episode in The Batman where it takes place hundreds of years in the future, and the police find the Batcave. They're looking for a way to stop Mr. Freeze, and so Batman has it actually in the metal. He has numbers carved into the metal, like computer programming, that'll tell them how to stop certain golems that come back.
So I know it's on Netflix now, so I had a chance to watch it. So, but yeah, it was a really good episode. Awesome, loved it. Hello. If you need help finding anything, feel free to ask.
All right.
So, we just got the 4-minute mark. It's probably down to 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and do the rating real quick.
Okay.
Gotham, I'll give it a nice 5.
I'll give it a 4.
Give it a 4.
Yeah.
There you go. We're getting ready to come up on our last part 3 here, where we got Amber coming up for the interview. We got a new topic going berserk. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll catch you in part 3 of Comicgeddon.